are less feminine than white women, or as his argument, black women.
Oh no, so I don't think so at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. You know, the women that raised me and the women that I've surrounded myself with, they're feminine. They are who they are, and you know,
what does that mean? They are who they are.
Their experiences have. These women that I know, they are nurturing women. They're as feminine as you can get.
Okay.
You know, we were just recently talking about how expensive it is for women's upkeep.
Right.
Like these women are all into that stuff. Okay.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. This is the REPAT podcast. My name is Janita Maya. I'll let my co-hosts introduce themselves.
Hi guys, my name is Outer Brand, content creator from Uganda. Nice to have you all around.
Okay.
What's up guys? Chef Molly in the building, Afro-Caribbean chef. What's up Uganda?
I'm a pretend New Yorker today. Brooklyn stand up. Bed-Stuy was good. Nah, y'all know I can never be New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the West Coast, Northern Cali. But O'Shea Duke Jackson, African American. Let's get to it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this clip is from O'Shea Duke Jackson, the YouTube channel. If you've not subscribe. Watch this with us and react to it with us.
Do other races of women. They allow their man to lead. So do Indian women. So do, for damn sure, Arab women. Are all of them like that? Man, maybe not. But the majority of white women, Indian women, and other women, they allow the man to lead. They don't want to be dominant. And one of the reasons is that they don't want to take on the responsibility of responsibilities in terms of, okay, if you're so dominant, build this road, build this skyscraper. Let's build me an I-beam. Build me an I-beam, a steel I-beam. See, women don't want to do that. So they say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to allow the men to do that. But see, black women want all the power. But then if you ask them to do the real stuff, for some reason, they ghost. They get ghost now. So what I'm saying is that Just Pearly Things, she understands black men more than black women do.
Oh.
And I feel like just
get out of there. Get out of there, chaotic.
Yeah, and I feel like Six the Goddess and other women, they were jealous of that. They are mad at that. And they want to be dominant. But really, at the end of the day, white women, I've been with only now people will say I'm Carlton, like that crazy woman said, but I've only been with two white women in my entire life. And I can tell you the two, Six the Goddess, but I can tell you this.
Six the Goddess called you Carlton. That is,
called me Carlton.
Called it from Fresh Prince, the original
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the real Carlton, not the new one.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is that, Just Pearly Things, and oh, by the way, I've been with only two white women in my life, and I'm telling you, it was like being in heaven because they bring femininity with them.
What?
And they do. And so now, mind you, I'm married to a black woman. She's beautiful and she's very feminine. But a lot of black women want to be black dudes.
Well, let me ask you this.
Whereas white women don't want to be. Go ahead.
I need to ask you a question. Did those white women cook for you, brother?
Of course they did.
Let me ask you this. I gotta ask it. I gotta ask it. Now I know that your people, you're not ADOS. Your people are from the motherland. I gotta ask you. Did any of those white women cook jollof rice for you?
No.
They didn't do that.
No, they didn't do that. No.
Did they cook for you the biggest piece of fried chicken, brother?
No, it was healthy food. Absolutely not. No. No.
So what did they cook for you?
I like salmon. I don't like a lot of fish products, but I like salmon.
So guess the main argument there.
Yeah, I think I got what.
So basically, this black man married to a black woman dated two white women before, and he felt like they were heaven on earth because they were more submissive and more feminine, and they didn't want to be men unlike other races. So yeah, guys, what do you think?
Go ahead, Molly.
You're shocked?
I don't know. Okay, I guess for context, you got to say that this this gentleman is in America.
Yeah,
right.
He's like, I think like a Nigerian American. He's an immigrant brother. His parents came from somewhere else, but he was born in America.
I don't know. There's a lot of things to take away from what he said, I guess. It's kind of hard to, quantify what he's saying because
why?
He's got to be talking about a small population of, he hasn't been with every woman. You
right.
know what I mean? So,
right. But he's saying in his experience.
In his experience.
Yes.
It's not my experience. I'm sure there's women out there trying to fill that male role.
Okay.
Whether it's single mothers, that's just thrust onto them. That's not something that they necessarily want. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure there's women out there who that's what they stand
But
on.
let me ask you, do you think that black women in general are less feminine than white women? Or as his argument, black women.
Oh no. So I don't think so at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. The women that raised me and the women that I've surrounded myself with, they're feminine. They are who they are, and
What does that mean? They are who they are.
Their experiences have these women that I know, they are nurturing women. They're as feminine as you can get.
Okay.
We were just recently talking about how expensive it is for women's upkeep.
Right.
Like these women are all into that stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've never lived this experience. So
okay. So what you saying? You haven't heard black men say that before, in your opinion?
Oh, I've definitely heard that.
Okay.
I've heard that, but maybe those black men are coming with some insecurities. Maybe they're not fully secure in their manhood and what they bring to the table.
Okay.
But the world is changing, right? You have women who are competing for male jobs. So they want to make more money. They want to do things that they rightfully deserve. There's women working the same job as men who are well underpaid compared to the males. So I am not I think you got to be secure with yourself.
Okay.
Obviously if you've gotten with a woman who you feel wants to be a man, then obviously there's conflict there. There's, we can't both fulfill each other's roles.
Right.
But, I want to be around femininity. That's what I get from women. I know very strong women. For my grandmother, my mother, I know a lot of women that are strong women that give you tough love. But that tough love doesn't mean that they're trying to be a man.
But does that mean you want to be in a relationship with somebody like that, though? I mean, that's what he's saying.
Do I want to be in a relationship with
somebody like your mom, and because I can tell you right now, no.
So as a man who has more understanding today, no, that's not the kind of love that I want. I want somebody with a soft, warm heart. I want somebody who is, who can articulate their feelings in a feminine way.
Okay, all right. Let me get to Outer Brown, and we're gonna come back to everybody. But go with Outer Brown because he's not like us because we can go back and forth all day.
Yeah,
their experience gonna be a little bit different. All right, so what you think about this, Outer Brown?
Me personally, I've never really gotten in touch to interact with white women. So I'm not so familiar with their behavior, but at least I've been with my African women here, and yeah, I've been seeing this coming up of recently. There's a way the ladies who want to. There's this feminism thing that it has, as compared to back in the day, it wasn't there so much, but in today's society, there's this feminism. So I think what was it? it's coming out like strong. Like ladies feel like they want to do what a man can also do. Yeah. They feel like they want to equal themselves to a man. Yet, even in the Bible, it clearly shows that there's a man and a woman. There are man's roles and there are female roles. But I don't know what's happening. You guys feel like you want to encounter us. Ladies.
Actually,
Hey.
so would you say that the girls you're dealing with give off more masculine energy when they're with you?
I've not experienced it with me personally, but I've been seeing it online because I see it on social media. I see it on, everywhere.
Look, can I ask this question in context of Uganda? Is there any kind of myth or belief that in the surrounding areas of East Africa, Tanzanian women are more feminine than Ugandan women, or Ethiopian women are more feminine than Ugandan women, or Kenyan women are more feminine than Ugandan women? That would be your particular, you get what I'm saying?
So, yeah.
Yeah, as a group of Ugandan men, when you talk about, and there's many ladies here in Uganda, there's South Sudanese, there's Ethiopian, there's Eritrean, there's Ken Rwandese, especially Rwandese. Do Ugandan men say, our women are a little bit, they have attitudes, they have attitude problems, they're acting crazy. We'd be better off if we go to Rwanda. Something like that.
Obviously, I would believe there's some variance because I would obviously believe that Rwandese, just from their nature, the women seem to be more submissive compared to Ugandan. You get?
I think I wouldn't say they're more submissive because then there's some who are rebellious. With East Africa, when you look at it and you see what people are saying, it's more like the Rwandese women are more feminine, they're more softer. Submission is a whole different thing because she could be feminine and soft, but she's not listening to you. She's not listening to what you're saying. She's arguing with you. But the whole time she's like the cutest little butterfly flying around.
Sure.
You know? But when you look at East Africa, it's more like Rwandese are more feminine than Ugandans. And then Ugandans are more feminine than Kenya. It's like back. There's a whole guy who does a whole TikTok where he describes how different types of women react. Like how a Ugandan woman reacts when her husband says this, how a Kenyan woman reacts.
Yeah, I've seen that.
How a Tanzanian woman reacts and whatnot. And the whole time, I love my Kenyan ladies. The whole time that he's depicting the Kenyan women to be a bit more no nonsense. It's like if a Ugandan is gonna, let me bring the plate. The Kenyan's like, don't you know where the kitchen is?
Yeah.
Do you need me to direct you there?
I've heard that specifically about like women from the Kikuyu tribe.
Yeah.
They're more likely to be more aggressive. Like,
Okay.
that's a stereotype what I've heard about.
Yeah,
them.
it's definitely a stereotype. We're not trying to generalize, but that's how it is. But I think to what Outer Brian is saying about the current wave of feminism and what's not and how women are being more difficult, I feel like let's flip it and see why are more women wanting to be more masculine. Is it because the men are getting softer or are the men forcing them to get more masculine?
Yeah.
You know?
What you got? What you got?
Is it because of that? And it's not at its feminism. No, it's because the men have failed to do what they need to do. And now the women feel like they need to step up, you know? They need to step up and come in and do what the men are failing to do. That's what I'm seeing on my end. I don't see it as feminism. I don't see it as women wanting to take on the world or wanting to encounter you. You make it seem like women want to fight you. Like
yes, that's
I'm
what you
over
want to
here
do.
and I want to fight you. Yet you're my brother in Christ.
I am not her brother in Christ.
My brother over here.
Disregard that information.
As my brother in Christ, what I'm trying to tell you is, I feel like women, the way I've seen it, women are tired, you know. Let me speak for the black women that I encounter. I feel like it's more of like they're tired. So you can't say you're going to be submissive to a man who's not taking you anywhere. 5 years, you're in the same spot. There's no progression. There's nothing. At the end of the day, you have to step in as a woman and care for your family and say, you know what? I want to leave my kids something. So if I need to step in and do this, then I need to do that. But a man will see that as you not being submissive. Yet the whole time, submission would come easily if you were leading as a man. So yeah, like I was saying, I think what the gentleman over there is saying, there's a TikTok I saw and this lady was saying he understands why there's a whole trend on TikTok that says I knew my ex hated me when, so that these two white girls saying I knew my ex hated me when, they did a whole list of things that the ex was doing, and these were horrendous things. These were horrible things. He cheated on me multiple times. He beat me up. So the lady was saying he now understands why some men prefer white women, because these are the women who withstand a lot. You know, they're able to stay in relationships no matter what is happening for a while. They're able to like let go of certain things. Whereas when you look at a black woman, the first red flag, she's gonna be like, no, you know what? Not today. It's not happening on my turf. No, it's not happening with me. So I feel like some men will interpret that as, oh, you're not being more feminine. Yet women, by the way, let me tell you something. I feel like every woman is capable of being very feminine, very submissive. You are just not the one. That's it. You are just not the one, and it's the wrong time. But women, we've seen women who are feminists in public and whatnot, but the moment she gets home, that feminism stays behind the door. Because she knows when she's inside her house, the husband is the leader. She's going to submit to the husband. The husband is the one leading the home. You understand? Yeah. So if a woman ever comes off as not submissive to you, you're just not the one. And she's just seeing you as a brother in Christ. You know, I hate it when, you know, I think the most issue that some people have is they expect submission everywhere. I'm sorry to say this, but why would you expect submission in a workplace? If we're all there to get work done and whatnot, why do you expect the female workers to be more submissive? You understand, something like that? So if I'm here with Brian, I'm not going to be submissive with Brian. He's my brother in Christ. You know, Brian is my brother in Christ. We are here shooting a podcast. Like, there's no form of submission I'm going to give him. There's no form of whatever it is I'm going to give him. But if it's behind closed doors and I'm with my man or with my partner and whatnot, of course I'm very submissive and very I won't even kill a mosquito.
Do we have a wedding coming pretty soon?
Right now here, I don't want any submission. The submission I want is not from here.
But what I'm trying to say is that I think some men don't encounter more submissive women in the black race because it's just the wrong time and the wrong place. Like in a supermarket, what do you want her to do? You know, kneel down for you? Which is that she's paying for her groceries? It doesn't make sense.
Let me just say this, and I'm trying not to be guys. This is me talking less is actually better. I'm over here learning. You know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. First in like South Central Los Angeles. And I used to remember seeing, like, if you come off, you know, let's say the 405 freeway in LA or something like that, or the 110, you would see Hispanics that were immigrants selling fruit on the freeway. It's Mexicans. And so you would look at these guys like, wow. In the kind of consensus where these guys were at the bottom. But at the same time, you had so many guys wanting to date Hispanic women. I'm pretty sure it's pretty similar with the Dominicans, who in the 70s and 80s wasn't like what they are now. Like, they got barbershops, they got more businesses, more corner stores. You call them bodegas. Same thing in Philly. And one of the things I noticed about Latino men in comparison to black men, on average, more Latino men run to the responsibility to take care of the women in their community. They want that. Like, I want to take care of you. This is what I'm looking to do. Now, in response to black men have done, especially like in my grandfather's generation, you know, we were those men were the ones in the civil rights movement. They were building the Morehouse colleges. They were building the black churches, black banks, and things like that. So women behaved much differently. If you even look at the Nation of Islam, which is Louis Farrakhan, their women behave unlike any other women in America. Those are some of the most submissive black women on average ever. You've encountered them before. Yeah. Sisters of Nation Islam. But what I see is when a lot of black men who are, let's say, for example, coming out of college, you know, you meet the average lady who didn't come up with a father, all of a sudden you encounter this bad attitude. And it's like, imagine being a woman and you get this guy who is, you would say, toxic. You would say he has mommy issues, right? So how many black women have I encountered, and this is not all, but that have mommy issues, I don't need no man type of talk. Marcus Houston got a lot of trouble recently for saying the same thing. I saw so many women that had these attitudes, and they may be nice and cool to talk to, and maybe even good to have sex with, but you don't see them as relationship material. So what you find yourself as a black man is like, okay, for the lot of brothers, I want to deal with this sister, but look at all of the things I have to deal with getting her to see things my way because she'd never seen a relationship before. Yeah. All right. So that's on the uphill battle. And if you go to like a predominantly white institution, which most of us do, when you come with the white woman, she don't give you the attitude. Like, damn, a white girl is showing me this. And, you know, we going out here. She doing that. She cooking for me, cleaning. But the black woman I'm trying to get with, that never happened. Well, I need to go with her. But you're not also not understanding what her men have done to put her in that position. That's the thing. As black men, we've always been compared to, my grandmother used to clean houses in the 60s and 70s, 60s, 50s, in Oakland, California. She was married to my grandfather, and they had a small house, but when she would go to, and we call it the white lady Miss Ann, she would go and look at the white people's house she was cleaning at, and she would make a comparison. Why isn't my man doing X, Y, and Z for me? And what you're seeing now is a lot of black women think that they don't need a man. And so, and as a black man, you're like, okay, well, fuck it. Let me go get somebody else. But here's the bigger picture. Men have to be men. If you want respect from black women, you're not going to get it as an individual. That's what a lot of black men think. As an individual, I'm successful. Why she not dealing with me? But when she see you, she see everybody else, right? Mm. What do you do for your women as a what? As a group. What communities do you build for your women? You can be the nice person individually, but if she have baby by you, can she get, your child goes to middle school? Can your child get a job through your network? Nope. Can't do that. So as an individual, you're doing very well. But you as a black man, as a group, you're not doing enough for your women for them to be loyal to you. So they give you attitude. They give you problems. And the thing is, you have to be able as a man to stay in the black community. And it's difficult. Like here in Africa, we got to work this shit out. Is that true? Mm-hmm. Me and Joan had plenty of wars with the whole team. But you can't just leave. You got to work it out. When you want your women to act a certain way, you got to work it out. Because they're not going to respect you. That's how the society and the system has made us, right? And you're seeing this in Africa. The women are not going to be like that until the men can put their women in positions of where the women got to respect you. And what you're seeing now, as much as women are entitled because they're women, a lot of men think they're entitled because they got a dick. And so, but you got to actually do something for your women such that they respect you. And one thing I noticed, once I was able to be a producer, a provider, women don't give me that problem no more. It ain't like I'm just giving free money, but women respect what you can just do. Mm-hmm. And so many black men want to have a lot of respect, but you don't do the work. If you want women to respect you, get 10 or 20 or 30 of you men. You guys go out in the community and bring some development to your community. You guys bring in some small businesses. You guys bring in concerts. The women will start adhering to you. But they don't respect what you do because you're an individual. Well, I went to Harvard. Why don't she respect me? But you're just nobody. When she deals with you, she working for the white man also. Look at the Nation of Islam. None of those women that work for the nation, for the most part, that I understand, those men have businesses. They have the final call. They have restaurants. They have their own schools. Mm-hmm. They've insulated themselves. Black men have to want to do that. And so the black man don't want to provide for his women like the Latinos do. Yeah. The Latinos got now $2.8 trillion spending power. We used to be the number one voting bloc in America. We number two. But the Latino man says, I'm going to take care of my women no matter what. And I've seen Mexican men in California pass us, going from selling stuff on the freeway to their kids getting into medical school, graduating before me. Mm. In one generation. But they run to the responsibility of taking care of their women. Too many black men are too disgruntled with black women to want to take care of them. And too many black women are disgruntled with black men to want to be with them. So no group of women are not going to sit there and submit to you. And they're going to say, well, they submit to the drug dealers. Are you sure about that? I don't think they're just fucking these guys. Some of these guys, they might submit to them to a certain degree. But again, if you want to take care of women, it's a hard job. Getting up, being a man every day, providing for women is the hardest job a man can do. And outside of doing that, that don't only just make you a man, but it is part of being a man. Taking care of women and children is part of manhood. But if you can't do that, they're gonna have an attitude. But if you're the kind of guy that, hey, I'm taking care of that, what's wrong with your attitude? Hey, stop that shit right now. I don't want to see, I don't hear it. They'll be quiet. Most women will do that because they don't respect you. But when you're a group of men and you don't bring resources, you don't have banks, you don't have credit unions, you don't have businesses, your women don't have an easier life because she's dealing with you. She the one fucking you every night, and her life ain't getting no better. She having your babies.
Exactly.
What is she supposed to do? So then you want to go over to the white girl, and I'm gonna leave with this, the Arab girl. You want to deal with them when they men made it easier for their women. You see how that is? So you want to benefit off the white man's work. You want to benefit off the Dominican man's work because they have taken care of their women where they respect them and their culture. But you don't want to fix your culture. What kind of man is that? And I used to complain about that too, to a certain degree. And I'm kind of on the border, but I'm like, well, it's easier to do that, but it's more beneficial to fix your situation.
Yeah.
And that's something that black men don't want to talk about. We want to go over to where the Arabs have already trained women and try to steal one of theirs. Instead of dealing with what we got some good talent in the black world. If she don't want to be a wife, get rid of her. But fix your people so your women can serve your community.
Yeah.
Instead of going stealing somebody else's daughter. And think about this as a man. I'm a Dominican man. You're a Ugandan and you're an American man. You coming over here with my daughter. First thing I'm gonna ask you is, what's wrong with your people such that they don't want you?
Damn, that's what you're gonna ask?
I'm gonna ask you that.
Shit.
Why you with my daughter? Your people don't want you? Why don't nobody in your community want you, son? That's the first I'm asking you. You here with my daughter. Why don't your people want you? Well, my people don't act right. Are you sure, or do you not act right? That's what I got to say.
But yeah, Brian. Sorry, Chef.
See, the disenfranchisement of black people in America is just because we had those things.
Yeah, we did.
We had those things. It's not like we didn't have community. We didn't have banks. We had businesses. We've actually had the white man come in and burn our shit. Right?
It's true.
We've seen that time and time again, right? And we also know that black males, we are the most incarcerated also, right?
Yes.
In America, right? So I'm not making excuses, but I'm bringing up legitimate points to what you're saying as to why we don't have community or why we look at each other with a side eye or why we don't invest in our women. We're so, the mindset is it's off-putting because we're like just running around confused trying to figure out how to get ahead, how to provide, how do we do these things, because even when we do come together to do these things, we see it get burnt down, right? My question to the Ugandans are like, okay, my experience here is that women running the country. They're the ones doing all the hard labor. When you go to buy that mango or that, dragon fruit or whatever your favorite fruit is, it's normally a woman selling it.
The mango whoop.
For the most part, men are in the transportation business. They're in the government a lot. They own storefronts, but it's the women who are like busting their ass in Nakasero and all of these different markets, these places that we nurture ourselves from. So I guess my question is, what was it? Was that how it always was, because from what I see, women do hard work here and they are the ones who they're literally providing, so I don't know what it is, what the history is here. I know what it is in America, but what is the history of the male-female relationship in regards to who's providing and who has what and who's bringing in?
It's a good question.
Brian, do you want to answer? Should I go first?
You first go.
Just to give, I think in the old days, what happened from my understanding and from what I know, I can't speak for every Ugandan, but just from my own perspective, is that there was war. The men were going to war. They were dying. They were leaving the women behind, and the women had to come up with ways and skills to fend for themselves. And that skill or that way of survival didn't leave them, that they pushed it on to the next one. You see, when our mothers don't tell us, oh, yeah, work hard and be like a housewife. I'm sure no mother says that, but like they tell you, oh, you have to work hard and have something for yourself. Because God forbid you're left with nothing. You know? So I think when you see most of these women, I think some of them have husbands, some don't. Some have men providing for them, some don't. But I think it all comes down to, God forbid something bad happens. What do you have for yourself? So you're not left out on the streets. Because we've seen so many government workers, when the man dies and it's like the wife is stripped of everything from the car to the house. Like, they just put her out on the streets, literally. That's how it happens sometimes. So I think what you see in Uganda is just a way of survival for some women. It's not, and some women have men who have set them up, but it's just like, oh, I can't stay home. I'm bored being at home, so I'd rather go out there and do something, or be somewhere, because you know an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So you know you could stay at home and start cheating. So better to go out there and do something. But yes, I think what you see in Uganda is just a mode of survival for most women. Yeah, but Brian.
So maybe we can look at it this angle. So what is the end point solution for all this? Because are we going to embrace the fact that now women are going to take over men responsibilities? Like, what is, because from what I see, even society that you are living in today encourages male. Yes, the society that we live in. Men are the on dresses. They spend the whole day at home on TikTok doing TikTok challenges. I'm like, yo, God, what is there? I'm like, these are the men who used to go to, back in the day, used to go to war. But now everyone is calm, has become comfortable. So I'm just looking at it as a bigger picture, like, what is the end term solution? Are we going to embrace the fact that men are now officially wiped out and it's now man equal to woman, or are we going to find a solution for it? Like,
can I
Please.
Let me just say this: as successful as women can be, they can, and I've seen elements of that. If women become very successful in the private sector and have money like men, what you'll find out is they'll still complain that some man isn't doing something for them. You know, so we've seen that in America, where women are getting very rich and very successful, and then they forget that because you're successful or educated, it has no bearing, for the most part, on what kind of man you're going to deal with. Now, it does happen. It does help if you're social economically, you know, better off and you're in a better circle. But you don't understand that men still, in many ways, rule the world, and most likely will always rule the world. And the reasons why, on average, men typically work harder. That's on average. Because if you want to have let's say a nice Christian girl such as yourself, right? I have to become somebody to get a woman like you. I can't. You still have to become somebody, but I have more work to do.
Yeah.
Right? The average guy, most women don't want that guy off of looks. So he has to be able to do some guys are short, tall, fat, whatever. How do you overcome that? You got to be somebody. So men have a better desire, if they want to mate with somebody that looks better, to do that. So on average, men are going to still run everything. Mostly. Because I think, I'm not trying to be canceled, but women do run a lot. But as far as, you know, some of the development and things like that, men are still going to be doing most of that. But I want to also say this and talk about women and bad attitudes, because, you know, I see it even in Africa. You know, you get bad service, the lady sliding her feet or whatever, upset. It happens, right? But I want to talk about this as far as black women or African women in the defense of black men. If you're a black man and you're encountering a woman, everybody's going to go into detail and understand the history of slavery, the history of decolonization in Africa, as to why our people act like they do now. Because we are not acting like our original selves. We're speaking in English right now, at least for me and him. We don't speak our mother tongue. So we are already brainwashed to a certain degree. When you encounter a black woman and she have an attitude, the average black man is not in deep thought about Africa or the black world like me and Molly. He's not going to think like that. He's the average dude encountering you, and he's going to be like, what's wrong with this lady?
Right.
Like, why has she got an attitude with me? You know, and I'm going to the white college and the white women, they treat me better. So damn, this girl didn't flake on me, but the white lady treat me better.
Yeah.
What are you going to do after a while? So then when you get with the white lady, then the same black lady say you're a sellout. All you guys like light-skinned women, you like white women and things like that. It's the same thing with black women, right? When you meet a guy, you don't want to encounter his problems. And I'm here to tell a lot of black women out there in Africa, wherever you are, no black man wants to deal with your problems, just like you don't want to deal with his. We're at a time now where David's Bridal just went out of business. The biggest wedding manufacturer in dress clothing in America. You know David Bridal, bankrupt. So if you come with that bullshit today, the guy can just drop you. You got the passport bros movement. You know, you got guys wanting to come back, go to different places. Some guys living with their mom. Most men today don't want to deal with an attitude with you because you came with it. I don't care what you've seen in your life. Just like a lot of women, you want a guy that can come to the table with something. He can build something. He got a network. Most guys want a woman that's going to perform regardless of how you feel. Now, the difference is that men on average are going to perform better no matter how they feel more than women. Because if I'm married to a woman, you don't want to have sex for 6 months. I still got to pay the bills. Right? It's a lot of men in America in sexless marriages. But hey, I'm married to you. I got to do what I got to do. You still my wife. I still got kids with you. But the reality is that, you know, a lot of men are not going through that shit anymore. And a lot of black women do have some problems with their attitude. I can understand why they have it in the system, and we understand why. But that don't mean the men you're encountering understand why.
Yeah.
We think that everybody's supposed to be on our level. Like, once we come to the knowledge of some of the things, and I'm on the shout out to Brother George and some of the brothers in the pro-black community and podcasts like this, we can leave the podcast and we're like, damn, Molly brought up a good point, or Aldo Bryan brought up a good point. But everybody's not having these discussions like this every day.
Right.
So when I come to the table to talk to you, if you give me an attitude, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
I might throw you under the bus with the rest of the black women.
Yeah.
And like, I'm done with all of y'all. That's how some people are. But the situations for the black world to get better, we have to fight it out.
Right.
And what I'm trying to tell you is, and I've been in this business, let's get to the fighting first. I think the diaspora, everybody need to have a war in the black world. Let's cuss each other out. Let's fight. I'm serious. Because once we get to fighting, the men and the women, once we get through all that, okay, now we got that over with. We didn't kill you. Let's get to the where we can work together now.
Right.
Yeah. But the black people, they so disgruntled, they don't even want to be around each other. In America, in Africa is different. Africans need each other in Africa. But in America,
Right.
I don't need you because you ain't my employer.
Yeah.
Right? I don't depend on you for nothing.
No respect.
Because who are you? But now in Uganda, it's different. I need you now, Molly. Right? I need you, Aldo Bryan. We got to work this thing out. And black people with black men and black women, you're going to have to fight to get it to the next level.
Right.
Let's fight this shit together. Look, you're going to have to teach your women how to treat you.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing I've noticed dealing with Negroes is hard, but you got to put in the work. You got to take care of these women. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Some of these brothers out here don't think about that. Look at Chicago. Every time I think about, I used to say, oh, you know what? Let the black community burn down. We start over again. I used to think that. But when I thought about Chicago and these teens that was rioting and all these killings going on in Baltimore, I thought about, and I seen old women getting like robbed. You know what I thought about? My own mother. I said, what happens if one of these 16 or 15-year-olds attack my mother, right? And I'm somewhere else and I'm defending about it. But that could have been the kid we could have tried to save. Right? I have to fight now to try to save that kid. Even though I might not like him or his mama, but I don't want him to go in and shoot my grandma.
Right.
Or rob my grandma, kicking the door like that, right? So as men, we got to think about, we have to protect the women in our community. Even, I'm going to say it like this, sometimes we might not like them that much, and they might not like us. But if you don't change their behavior, they're going to always be like that, and it's going to get worse. And the worst thing is white folks lose less and less respect for you in each generation. Right. They just don't say it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you talk about, when you go out there and say something like that, white women is so great. White folks who look at that can't respect the black man talking like that, even if it's true. Because this indicates you can't do anything to change your woman's behavior.
Yeah.
And as a man, that's an Asian man will watch that and be like, this guy is weak. Sorry, I was long-winded.
Yeah, but I think that was powerful. I'm just also on the other end, also women should be held accountable, you know, for the things that they do. I know that. Do you? Let me ask Brian this: do you encounter women with an attitude in Uganda that often?
Yeah, sure, I do.
It's their player.
Okay. So what I was trying to say is I think women should also be accountable for that behavior. I feel like, okay, this is going to be, I'm going to generalize a bit, but also don't come for me. I feel like sometimes most black women wear their hearts on their sleeve in that they can't even hide their emotions. It's like what they feel is what they're going to say there and then. And that can, in the end, be a problem. When I was at uni, I used to study with Brandies and I used to see how they used to interact with the other gender. Every time when a group and the other gender came around, it's like it was a switch. They were just in like feminine mode. It's like, they were, the sweetest person, and they were flirting with this person. They were so kind. You know how the Rwandese greet? You know how they greet?
No.
They greet with kisses. They peck. That's how they greet. So like that's already putting them ahead of you or something like that. They're already coming off soft and whatnot. And then if they have something bad to say, they wait for the men to leave and then they will say it. Whereas if it's like a normal Ugandan girl, be like, I actually don't like you, by the way, stay away from me. Yet around this girl, whether she likes you or not, should still be nice and kind and whatnot, and then should wait for you to leave for her to say whatever she needed to say. So this is me just saying women need to learn how to play the game. Stop wearing your heart on your sleeve and get in the game, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a journey, you know, because like you don't have to keep saying whatever it is you're thinking. Guys, any last remarks on this topic?
Yes. As Africans worldwide, we need to love ourselves more. If we can love ourselves more, we can love our women more. If you're an African king out there, find you an African queen. And that's all I got.
Right.
For my case, as you'll always be a man, will always be a man. So yes, the head of the family naturally will always be a man. Women, if you want to, unless otherwise, but that's it. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Last thing, two things I want to say. Number one, we live in a society where we don't have a whole lot of compassion for each other. So, and because of that, people look for people who are ready to produce. If you're a woman, you're looking for a man that don't got mommy issues, that don't got daddy issues, whatever. You're looking for that man to come in and produce right away, be a leader, be a provider. You don't care about what he's been through. He needs to do that for you. I think equally the same thing is going on with these men. I think these men are experiencing, well, I have to be this way. But a lot of black men are asking, what do you have to be as a black woman? And a lot of times black women are expecting black men to be a certain way, and they feel like they're perfect. And what we're finding out is, as black men are speaking up, and I was in the black manosphere for 8 years. I talked to thousands of men in my journey to where I am now. And a lot of black women just feel like black men are not worth respecting and changing at the fore. And you lucky if I'm dealing with you. And that's why you see so many black men, especially some of the new brothers, the emergent blacks. The emergent blacks are the Caribbean blacks coming over for the first time. Yeah. The African, the Nigerian blacks, those who are not the older Caribbean blacks or African Americans. Those are the emergent blacks. A lot of those guys, they're over there with the white girls more or less than us. So these men do not care about your attitude. If you don't have an attitude, they're going. Just like you going if he's broke. And that's why black women are really complaining about it now. But secondarily, I want to say this lastly. if you don't have any ownership in your community, you have no way to change your woman's behavior. I just graduated medical school last year. If I was a medical doctor, I would work at Kaiser, I would work in a small hospital or whatever. It'd be good to be a doctor, but I'm just a high paid employee. I don't have any way of shaping anybody's perspective. Mm-hmm. But here, as the undisputed tyrant of Kinganda, I have a way to deal with you if you work for me to change. So if you want to talk, get rid of you, right? So black men have to look at how they're respected. If you don't have some kind of ownership or working with your men to achieve nothing, your women ain't gonna respect you. That's everywhere, even in Africa. I tell these brothers all the time: own something here in Uganda. You guys are men. Take your country in the next direction. Want your women to respect you whenever they see foreigners coming in, they talking bad about you behind your backs. You go to night, even our community do the same thing with us too. But own something, do something for your people, for your women, where your women got it. We have to do something for these women for them to stay here. Because they're going to be disrespecting. And a lot of black men get a lot of disrespect. And you're like, man, I graduated college. I went to law school. Yeah, but you're not, when she sees you, you're just another dude as an individual. She don't look at you. When a black woman sees a black man, it's the individual. When you see the white man, you see the group. That's why a poor fat white guy come to Uganda and get all the women. Because why? They see him as the group. The Chinese man, when you see him, you don't see him. You see what? He's a part of that group that's doing very well. Indian man, when women see him, they see what? The group. But the black man, they look at the individual. You ain't shit. You ain't about shit. And you could be a guy from Harvard. What did that mean? So as a group of men, black men and African men have to get more power. Yeah. We have to run toward the responsibility of trying to take care of women so that their attitudes ain't like that. If you have a bad attitude with me, I'm going to get rid of you. Okay, nope, you're not in the community. You go somewhere with that somewhere else. But if you can't say that and you're going back, a lot of brothers waste their time going back and forth with women online about their attitudes. You black women, you don't have no power, so they're going to listen to you. Yeah. They listen to who can feed them, who can give them opportunities. Bring opportunities to your women. You can change their behavior if you don't like it or influence their behavior. And most women, it's in their nature to want to be around men who that's how women are. That's why you go to the Groove Skies, you don't see that many ugly women going in there. You see a lot of beautiful women. Go to the hip hop awards, Source Awards. Nothing but a whole bunch of women wouldn't do anything, right? Women gravitate towards power. But if the black man don't want the power, she gonna look at you as powerless. So that's the two things I want to say.
Okay, I feel like that's well said. Guys, where can they find you if they want to reach out?
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. YouTube, it's Outer Brand or
Outer
UTA. Brand. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you can find me.
Okay.
You can find me at Chef Morley's Table. That's Chef Morley, Mallys.
Okay, thank you.
At O'Shea Duke, let's fix our roads, please.
Can it happen?
I can't accept that. Please fix our roads.
Yeah.
In our country.
Well,
please.
We have a podcast. We have a podcast on that, an episode. I think it will be the previous one or the one after this. So make sure you watch that one. Subscribe to us on all our social media platforms at King and the Nation. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell for notifications. We'll see you guys next time.